Hello, Randy Thompson.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Thompson.
Hello, Trey List. Nice to meet you, Your Honor.
Nice to meet you, Mr. List.
Robert Johnson, pleasure to meet you, Your Honor.
Nice to meet you. Ralph Davis. Nice to meet you.
And
Nice to meet you, Mr. Davis.
And we represent, it's our pleasure to represent the defendant, Andrew Maxton.
Okay, best of luck to you all.
All right, hear ye. All persons have business with the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. Draw near, give your attention, and you shall be heard. God save the United States in this honorable court. Robert W. Street presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is about the cold, brutal murder of Teddy, committed by that man. On August 9th, Arnold Maxton walked into the room of Teddy and shot him 2 times, killing him. We know that he is guilty because we found his murder weapon and a lot more evidence. You will hear from Jerry Malone, and he will describe the events that took place. Arnold himself, a forensic analyst, analyzed the fingerprints on the gun. And finally, Arnold's friend, who will describe exactly where Arnold was. After you hear all the evidence, we are confident you will find the defendant guilty.
We will now hear from the defendants.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what you've just heard from the prosecution is a version of events that is not credible. What they didn't tell you is that Jerry Malone has a vision problem. And so when you listen to his testimony, please pay close attention, and we're confident that you'll find it not credible. As far as the fingerprint analyst, Peter Egbert, we submit, is completely biased. Again, pay very close attention to his testimony. And then finally, when you're going to hear from the friend at the people, Larry Bozen, pay very close attention to his testimony. And we are confident that if you do, you will find that this whole prosecution is a setup to get our client, who is actually innocent.
Mr. Malone, where were you on the night of August 9th?
I was in my bedroom.
Who did you see on the night of August 9th, and can you describe in detail what happened?
Well, I was looking through my window, and I saw one man walk into the Garcia's house. I thought that he could be the owner.
Could you describe in detail the man who walked into the house?
Well, he had a yellow coat on. I saw he had dark hair, too. He also had pretty small shoes, but that is all I could see at the time.
What happened after he walked into the house?
Well, I continued watching, and I saw the exact same person walk into the room. I heard 2 loud banging noises. Maybe the man stubbed his toe. I don't know. Then I thought to myself that sounded like a banging noise, not a man stubbing his toe. So I went to my bed. I was too scared to run outside or even look outside anymore. By the time I looked back out the window, everything had already happened.
Your Honor and people of the jury, just the same coat and shoes the defendant has on now. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Mr. Malone, you wear glasses, don't you?
Well, yes I do, but I don't have them right now with me.
And when you were looking out the window, your window was quite far away from the Garcia's house. Isn't that correct?
Well, it was about...
Yes or no? Mr. Malone, yes or no?
Yes, it is.
And it was dark outside, correct?
Yes, it was.
And at the time you heard the banging, the noise you mentioned, were you already sleeping?
No, it was not.
Were you in your bed?
No.
And now you've never met Mr. Maxton before, correct?
No, I have not.
Never seen him, right?
Never.
So, and you talked about how he had a yellow coat, right?
Yes.
A lot of people have yellow coats, isn't that right?
That is true.
And you said he had small shoes, right?
Yes.
A lot of people have small feet, correct? Further questions?
We may now call their next witness.
The people would like to call forensic analyst Peter Egbert.
Peter, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Please state your name for the record.
I'm Peter Egbert.
What do you do as a forensic analyst?
I analyze fingerprints that are obtained from crime scenes.
Did you analyze fingerprints from the murder of Teddy Bear at 23 The Fairway?
Yes.
What did your analysis show?
It showed that the fingerprints from the crime scene matched those belonging to the defendant, Arnold Maxton.
No further questions.
Mr. Egbert, you don't like my client, do you?
That is correct.
In fact, you've always hated my client
Yes.
since elementary school.
You could say so.
Because he was better athlete and student, right?
Yes.
And better looking, yes?
Yep.
In fact, you married the woman you loved.
Yeah.
And you hated him so much that you planted his fingerprints on the gun, right?
I did not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
The people may now call their next witness.
The people will rest.
The gun and run some further tests. The defense calls Mr. Maxton to the stand.
Mr. Maxton,
Excuse me.
do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you may continue.
Mr. Maxton, tell me now, did you murder Teddy?
Absolutely not.
Where were you on the night of August 9th?
I was with my good friend Larry Boson.
Where were you with Mr. Boson?
We were at the shooting pool for money at the house located at 1313 Placer Avenue in Greenway.
How much money did you win or lose?
At 11 p.m., I had won $120, but Larry had made a deal that he would double the money he owed me if he could beat me at a game. If I lost, then he would owe me nothing. I took the deal and I lost the bet.
Were you ever at 23 The Fairway?
Never.
Do you have any idea why Peter Egbert would claim your fingerprints were there?
Well, he has always been jealous of me, and I don't think he liked that I ended up marrying the woman he loved.
Well, you see, Your Honor, how is there a way that he was at 23 The Fairway? He was always with his friend shooting pool for money. He knows exactly where he was and at what time and the money he made or lost.
You may proceed, Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Maxton, you don't want to go to jail, right?
Of course not.
And you would not do anything to avoid going to jail.
I don't want to go to jail.
You would lie, commit perjury to avoid going to jail.
That is incorrect.
Then could you please repeat where you were on the night of August 9th?
I was at my friend's house until 1 a.m. It was committed at precisely 8:27 p.m. on August 9th.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Hello. Can you confirm that the defendant was at your house the night of the brutal murder?
Yes, he was.
Do you know if the defendant did commit the murder?
All I know is that he was at my house on August 9th and we shot pool together.
Does anyone else live with you?
Yes, as I said, my roommate Gary Hanson.
Was he shooting pool with you on any chance?
No. He had fallen asleep at about 8 because he woke up at about 5 to go to work.
That seems like a peculiar time for an adult to go to bed. And the fact that he went to bed just before the murder had taken place, a bit odd, don't you think?
Oh, he might have gone to bed at 9.
Why are you changing what you just said? Is there something you're hiding, Mr. Boson? You do know that if you lie in a federal court when being questioned, you can get up to 5 years in prison.
Yes, I do know that. But now, I'll tell you the whole truth. That wasn't part of the truth. At about 9, Arnold came up to me and said, I have something to tell you. But he didn't tell me after that. We just played pool after that until about 1. I have no idea if Gary had gone to bed.
Just to be clear, Mr. Boson, the murder was committed at 8:27. You didn't see Mr. Maxton until 9 o'clock. He could have committed the murder.
We may now hear the closing arguments from Mr. List.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, there is substantial evidence pointing to my client not being guilty. The first witness, Jerry Malone, can barely see from close up. The people didn't tell you that he wears glasses. I had to bring that up. Moreover, the first witness was from afar and it was dark outside, so how can we not suspect that he couldn't see very well? Secondly, the analyst is biased. Did anyone see how another person grabbed the bag? Can we not even assume maybe a little that the analyst lied or wasn't telling the truth? Even more, how can you even think that my client has an unsolid alibi? Just because his friend said that he wasn't home until 8:30 when the murder occurred, my client was still at home by about 8:45, and no one else can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that my client was at 23 the Fairway. Thank you.
We will now hear the prosecution's closing arguments. Mr. Thompson.
We have now presented all of the evidence that is needed to prove the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. We know this because we have fingerprints on the same murder weapon that was found in the murder house. The evidence is overwhelming, in fact. Jerry Malone has proven to us the flawless depiction of the defendant when he arrived at 23rd the Fairway. And also, the defendant himself does not have a solid alibi. The defense's theory is ridiculous, in fact. None of it is correct. The fact that my forensic analysis would commit fraud is grotesque. Furthermore, Larry Bozen basically admitted to his friend's crime. Thank you.
The jury may now begin their deliberation. Has the jury reached a verdict, Mr. Foreperson?
The jury has reached a final decision.
Stop. Look, it's Thurgood Marshall and Hugo Grotius. Thurgood Marshall abolished segregation in Maryland, and Hugo Grotius made laws that made the world more peaceful.
Hey, you have to make a decision based on non-biases. Also, you must consider that the prosecutor has made his decision. Prove beyond a reasonable
Mr. Foreperson, do you believe that further deliberation will help?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, everyone hold up! We have found that Arnold Maxton's fingerprints do not match the fingerprints on this gun. Mr. Maxton, tell me now, did you murder Teddy on August 9th?
Yes.
Craigslist, nice to meet you, Your Honor.
Nice to meet you, Mr. List.
Robert Jones, Your Honor.
Ralph Davis, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Davis.
Did